Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 248. Today's show is quite special. It's the show before pre-patch launches. For NA, the pre-patch is launching Tuesday, tomorrow, the 13th, and for EU, it is launching on Wednesday, the 14th. So, with that going on, we will talk about the last things that you may want to do to be ready for the new patch to come. What you can expect in the patch, what you can expect in the near future, but not straight away. And yeah, that's for the pre-patch stuff. We also have a collector's edition. Perk has a collector's edition of Shadowlands, which she will unbox and show off to us. And with that, let me introduce myself real quick. I'm Annie, or also known as Annie Fuchsia, and my co-host is, as mentioned, my lovely co-host, my lovely friend, Perculia.
Aw. Hi, I'm Perk. I run Wowhead. I am joined by Brightpaw the cat. He is right here. Say hello. And we are really busy with the whole Wowhead staff, overseeing all of the guides and the news and the daily data mining updates and all the tool updates that we need to get done to make Wowhead as useful as it can be for the pre-patch. I really appreciate all of your support leading up to the pre-patch as well. I remember when Wowhead didn't really do guides, so the pre-patch was like, whatever, but now it's a really big deal and update time for us, so it's really nice to see how we've grown over the years. As Annie mentioned, I do have a collector's edition, so before we answer your pre-patch questions, we can do an unboxing of... Come on, box. Hard to hold a box and cat at the same time.
If Brightpaw allows.
Open this, and we can see if Brightpaw reacts to the items in the box as well. As I'm sure you've seen, Brightpaw was like super into the box when I posted it on Facebook. I think that was one of our like top posts on Facebook, Brightpaw reacting to the box. So yeah, let's start off by no Brightpaw, that's a paw on my leg. Ouchies, no ow Brightpaw. Hopefully he'll stay around. But yeah, why don't we dig into the box and see what's in the box? Sound good, Brightpaw?
After this part, I'm used to going back to this for the double overlay, but honestly, I think we'll stay on the focus with you. Oh, we have a cat. I'll stay with the focus on you as you show off the unboxing. So let's go back to Perk being in focus.
All right, I'm sure Brightpaw is now going to like dismantle the camera because he knows the focus is on him. So we have this collector's edition box. It is very shiny. If you move it, you can see different parts show off in the light. The side has all 4 covenants on it, which are also holographic. And then the box has... Okay, we're moving you, Brightpaw. You're keeping them in suspense, but you can't hurt me. No, BB cat. Okay, we're putting you down. Okay. Now I have 2 hands free. So now we have the back of the box, which has a skull if you move it in the light the right way. And yeah, this is meant to represent the Ice Crown Citadel sky. And you can't really see it super well, but if you look at even the plain black part, it has swirlies that remind you of anima or skulls. Yeah. So this box is a lot of fun. And if we open it up, we have a lot of stuff in it. So this is the interior of it. And you can see it's like nice embossed gold, the W on one side, just the interior lining. And then on the right-hand side, you have all the stuff that comes in it. And I'll save the art book for last, digging into it, but we have this very nice art book with all 4 covenants kind of highlighted and when it catches the light. We have, I know people were saying I didn't highlight this in the post enough, but we have a cat that's back. We also have a mouse pad. So this is the Shattered Sky mouse pad. It's not like a full desktop mat, but it works. So we have a cat. He likes the mouse pad.
Speaking of cat, I'm gonna quickly show off the picture that
Yeah.
you posted before
Yeah.
with the art book mousepad visible, and
Mhm.
Brightpaw is sniffing the box.
Yes.
There you go.
So
Back to
another
you.
thing that comes is this envelope, which is again very pretty and elaborate with the Orbos imagery on it. Catches the light really well on both sides. And inside, I'm not going to show off the codes, but it's even really pretty on the inside. And this is where you have all of your codes to redeem things. So, for example, this is the code for the Epic Edition to get all your online goodies, like the Transmog set. This is then this is for the soundtrack that you can download. Another card. And
Gotcha.
then the final card is just a reminder how you can play things for free with the BattleNet app. So I know people are really excited about soundtracks, so it's nice to have. And then this thing is really exciting for pin collectors. We have all 4 pins, one for each covenant. And it's like really, yeah.
Yeah, I quickly showed the picture that you posted since it's a little bit clearer, but you can keep on speaking.
Yeah. So it's really sturdy. Really nice backing if you just want to display the pins versus wearing them. And the back has the official B markings that we've come to expect from all official Blizzard pins. So let me try to pull these out and I show them off a little more. Okay, so I'm pulling the Kirian one out. In theory, it doesn't want to come out. Come on, Kirian Pin. Okay, so this is the Kirian Pin. And I don't think you can see it super well, but it actually says Blizzard collectible pins on the back. It has a lot of like fancy official markings on it.
Can you come a bit closer, maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah, we can kind of see it now.
Yeah. And then that goes. No, don't eat this, Bright Paw. Anyway, this is the B I was talking about before.
Oh.
So you can tell it's real and not a copy. And yeah, this is the Kirian one. So it's like silver with the little sparkly blue piece in the center. Wow, Brightpaw is really into this box.
He's like, oh, I can see all these really nice things here. This glowing main book, these pins, these envelopes. I want some of this.
So let's look at the Venthyr pin next. So the Venthyr pin is just solid gold. Which I appreciate how they have some that have silver backings and some with gold because, you know, if you only wear one type of jewelry, the pin, you know, one pin may not match. So this is the Venthyr Covenant 1. And, you know, very different style. So varieties, good. Then wow, I don't know why he likes this box so much. No, don't eat the pins, Brightpaw. No. Oh, Brightpaw.
I'm gonna show another picture of Brightpaw where he is guarding the Collector's Edition. He knows he's the king, and it's his Collector's Edition.
So for this next pin, it is the Necrolord pin of Maltraxis, and this is a bronze pin with a cattail. And it has a green gem in the middle for even more variety, and it picks up the light pretty well. And I like how all these covenants, they're not just the same shape. They all have different silhouettes, so it's a lot of variety. Like this one is a diamond, but the Venthyr one is more of like an eagle or something. And the final one, which I'll share in a minute, is a circle. Oh, and he left. So I guess I will be able to show this final pin in peace. The backings are also really sturdy, so you could definitely wear these through like a winter sweater. They're not like super flimsy. Like just if you look at this, the pin backings seem pretty deep.
Yeah.
So this one is silver again, and this is the Night Fae pin, which kind of is like an optical illusion because from one angle it's like silver and white, but then another angle it's like the silver part turns white and the white part turns blue. So
so we're going back to the meme. Like, is it
yes,
black
this
or
the
gold or what was it?
Exactly. Yeah, this is the meme. So we're going back to that.
That's it.
And that is the fourth pin, which I think is really good value because when they've done pins in the past, it was always only, I think, one pin, and now we got 4 pins instead. So
yeah, to represent each covenant.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big upgrade. I know, like, pin collectors who won't even wear these are just going to be really happy to have this because it's on, like, really sturdy material. You can just, like, put it up against the wall. There are pre-made areas to pull the pins in and out, so you don't have to worry about this getting, like, ugly or holes in it. It's just a very nice display board. You could probably even frame it if you wanted to.
That's interesting. Really fun. Yeah.
So we've highlighted the pins, we've highlighted the cool envelope with stuff, the mouse pad, and yeah, let's look more at this art book. So just looking at the cover, just appreciating how detailed it is with the black on black and then the gold on it. And the back is really similar except with less of the gold. The W has the gold and the Covenant circles do not. So I did a write-up on this a few days ago on Wowhead showing lots of art, and I don't want to like flip through every page of the book, but I did want to just highlight different parts of the book for people. If you want me to highlight a page, let me know. The style of the book is it's a tour through the Shadowlands, so every zone has a little blurb about it, which is pretty cool. And there's also a cool story device where we start the story with Bolvar talking about how he learned that death was a beginning, not an end. And then, like, he narrates and takes us on this journey throughout Shadowlands. And then when we get to the end of it, after a pretty dark chapter on the Maw, we then have a parting message from Bolvar again.
Oh, that
and he's
art.
like, yeah. So it's a cool framing device. And yeah, just to highlight interesting things. Let me find an example. So
I'm going to show the picture that you posted of the Arden Wheel pages. I think it looks nice.
Yeah.
As you flick through and pick something else to show.
Yeah. So just looking at Ouroboros, because it is a zone, we have the armor sets, which I feel have not gotten a lot of attention because they're not covenants, but I think that they give across a Titan vibe really well. And the whole chapter, I think, is neat because you really get a sense of the first ones in the Titan-esque architecture that maybe have not been as hyped as much as the, Covenant aesthetic. In the Bastion chapter, just more like Ouroboros aesthetics. Like, this is what the wall looks like, and you're like, wow, I never knew. Like, now I'm really appreciating all these little details. The Bastion chapter has really cool angels, and I think even some armor that wasn't used. Like, look at this cape, like the feathers on the left-hand side.
Oh,
that's cool. I don't think that's a game.
No, I don't think we have a feather
cape. The other stuff I'm seeing. Yeah, so there's interesting concept art for things they didn't use, like this Pegasus as well. It we don't have any horses with wings like that.
That's cool. I mean, that kind of
Yeah.
probably hints towards us getting something like that in the future, since it fits the theme of the area, and Blizzard likes to hint with new styles of things before we get our hands on it. So, yeah, it's probably something that we can unlock in the Shadowlands then. Maybe Bastion only.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the Bastion, I think actually has the most art, and there's even this like very high res, interesting cinematic panorama of Bastion, and I'm wondering if that's going to be used for like, you know, high definition cinematics in the future, because we don't exactly see this in game, and you know, you're wondering like it wasn't used in Afterlife, so you're like, where will this actually be used? This one,
future cinematics.
Yeah, so we have owl art.
Oh, so that's cute. Yeah.
And what I like about this is that it like mixes in some of the lore. It's not just a pretty picture. And yeah, just skipping through. Some of them do a really good job showing off Covenant armor, like Maltraxis.
Oh.
So some Covenants have more armor than others. Another thing I thought was cool about Maltraxis was how they have concept art of like the bony weird equivalents of basic objects, because it has to look so different. Like this slimy thing is meant to be a barrel, like this weird thing is meant to be a tree. So even though it's not my like favorite zone aesthetically, I appreciate all the effort that was you know, put into that. And we even have some cool art of Draka at the end.
Ooh. That suddenly made me excited again for the stories to come.
Yeah. And I think you said you were showing Ardenweald, so don't need to...
Yeah, just the main page, but you can show it again if you want to.
Yeah, I just thought like this was like, I don't think we've seen this shot either, and it's that same high definition piece of art. And I don't think we've seen the Night Queen with that look. Like, remember in Afterlives, we saw her at the end, it was sort of this dusty appearance, but now she's at the top of the mountain when it's all like blue and healthy. There's also this really cool... if you look down here, there's different models of the Winter Queen, and one looks very shaded, and again, like this very like painterly, high definition cinematic style again. Like they decided to color her two different ways.
Interesting. Yeah, so one has a lot more detail.
Yeah, so you have to wonder what that is for.
Yeah.
Also, I hate bugs, but these are so adorable.
Oh, that bottom left one is so beautiful.
Brightpaw, it's a bug. Look at the bug, Brightpaw. Look, it's a bug. See, he's not even going after it. He's like, oh, it's so cute. I'll let the bug stay.
It's like, nah, mommy, I'm not gonna eat that. It's too pretty.
Revendreth, I feel, had less of the concept art. They had more of art that was tied to like the Afterlives, maybe because this was already like done in production and that was the last zone we saw. But we have a really cool look at some of the weapons, which I like.
Oh, yeah. I like the ones with the red details.
Yeah. Then we also have... Oh, we have a really cute thing. So we have this... Look at this cute little baby gargoyle. Isn't it so cute?
It's like so cute and creepy.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Looks evil cute.
And yeah, going back to the high definition stuff again, we've got this very highly rendered art of Sire Denathrius and two pictures of his talking weapon. So like, we know he's the bad guy and a boss, but we have to wonder if they made this for any cinematics or things using him.
Interesting.
I just like the Venthyr costumes, so this was one of my favorite pages. It wasn't the Covenant art, but I liked all the different like
they're
dresses
fancy
and jackets. So for the final chapter, I don't know if we want to put spoilers up, because this did get a lot of like lore discussion, and I feel like it's sort of obvious, but we should maybe just do this to be safe. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Give me a second. I need to get the spoiler tag from the main overlay into here. Let's see. For some reason I couldn't move it. Let me try one more time. Copy. Oh, there it is. Okay. Spoiler tag is up.
So the final chapter is on the Maw, and there are a lot of hints that the jailer is like really irredeemingly bad. Like it's not, oh, morally gray, it's just, oh, he's horrible. And the whole chapter is sort of driving home how bad the place is and horrible things he's done. And we get hints related to some characters he interacts with. We have this interesting picture, and if you look at the text, you don't know who it is, but if you've played the beta, you know that this guy is the rune carver, and when he has a past that we don't know about, his memories are lost, and based on this description, the text showing that this guy, that the jailer, you know, takes people who fought against him and then makes them work for him, that hints that the rune carver was maybe like fighting the jailer in a past life. You know, like the text going along with this image means a lot. And people are like, well, you know, the Maltraxis leader, the Primus, was like really good at making armor, and he's missing. Could this be the Primus, like with his memories wiped? This next one is we've got Sylvanas in her, new armor with the Valkyr, and this is a reference to how, you know, she was given the Valkyr to protect her, and then she went back to Azeroth with the sole purpose of trying to weaken Bolvar, so she would get the crown from him. And the line is specifically, only then will the Banshee Queen claim the crown of the false king. So that means the Helm of Domination from Bolvar. And you're like, you know, Helm, what does that to do? Oh yeah, by the way, these mounts look awesome. Side note, not a spoiler, just really cool mounts.
Cool. Oh, that elemental looks so cool.
Yeah, that is the Mythic plus reward mount, I think. So so we've heard a few things about the Helm of Domination, and I know in past at past, you know, shows we've been like, hey, you know, what about the Dreadlords? Were they working for the jailer? Did the jailer give them the helm to keep track of the Lich King? You know, what was up with that? Because it clearly wasn't, you know, oh, like this helm appeared out of nowhere and it's for the Burning Legion. It's all these conspiracies that the Nathrezim were like infiltrating all of the other realms of the cosmos and, you know, were taking the jailer's magic and infusing them in these artifacts like behind the Burning Legion's back. So we actually learn on the very last page, it was, I'll read this and show it. This page says, the veil between realms wanes. The Helm of Domination was crafted to be our way forward. Instead, the one seared by flames of life uses it to keep us at bay. And this is it. And that is pretty interesting because, you know, they're saying that Bolvar, the one seared by flames, uses the helm to keep the power of the Maw under control. But the original purpose of the helm was to help the Maw get like more control in Azeroth. And that makes you think about the line, like there must always be a Lich King. Like maybe there always needed to be a Lich King to like prevent the helm from doing its crazy powerful magic. There always needed to be a Lich King to, you know, protect us from what the Maw offered. Everyone always assumed the Lich King was like a servant of the Maw, but now it could almost be that, you know, the jailer is actually really disappointed how all the past Lich Kings didn't work out for one reason or another. So now he sent Sylvanas to just like seize the power of the helm and unleash it because Bolvar and everyone else they failed for whatever reason.
So destroying the helm so it's not possible to do it again.
Yeah. Or it's like maybe they assumed that the the wearer would just become corrupt and listen to the jailer, and instead even if they did get corrupted, they held on to some sort of identity or used it to fight other battles on Azeroth, but not the one the jailer wanted.
Yeah.
So that's why when you go back to the final page again and you read what the Lich King says, that, nothing can stop what Sylvanas set in motion. Rending the veil was just the beginning. Beyond the ruined sky awaits an evil older than reality itself. The jailer has been amassing power within his maw, and soon his patience will be rewarded. You're like, oh, like, wow. Like, you just, when you realize everything that was held together with the Helm of Domination and how he's been planning to overthrow Azeroth for years, now it shows why we really need Bolvar on our side, and how he feels like a pawn in this bigger game. And it just really makes you rethink expectations. Like, we've always talked about Arthas and how, Arthas obviously did evil things, but like he was sort of mind controlled by the jailer, and he didn't let the jailer the jailer didn't do his master plan under the Lich, when he was the Lich King. So it's like, was Arthas now against the jailer? Like, could things have been even worse? It's just interesting to think about that. And then this page, if you look at it, the final page is this index, but then like the final page has this art, and everyone is speculating what the significance of this art actually is.
But it's a little bit blurry. What is it?
Okay. Is this closer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is good.
There's a lot of speculation. Some people are thinking maybe it's like a version of the Maw before, like, I don't know, things ruptured and it's like hanging from the sky. My coworkers thought it was that tower that Sire Denathrius was working in, that had the Nathrazim book showing how they were pawns of they were working for the jailer. And we thought that made more sense because the tower looks really similar, and we thought that after if you didn't know anything about the story and you're like, like the jailer was behind the helm, how did the helm get to Azeroth? If you see that picture and it jogs your memory, it might take you to that place in game, and then you would learn how the Natrazim moved the helm between the jailer and the Burning Legion. So we thought it could be like a nice Easter egg that would inspire you to find the place in game and learn more. But other people think it doesn't look exactly like the area, so maybe it's like foreshadowing for another raid. I'm not sure, but I thought that it was really neat how it wasn't just yeah. I just like how it wasn't all, oh, look, a pretty picture, but it was all, the story tells a narrative, how you learn little things here and there, and then in the last chapter you have all these really big lore reveals, and all of a sudden Bolvar's little intro message isn't just like, oh, hype Bolvar. It's like, wow, like the stakes are really high, like we have to help Bolvar, like this helm is poisonous, it's so horrible. And I like how you can learn new things by reading this book.
Yeah, it's actually really nicely put together like that, with the art at first, and then in a way, a dive into lore, but not really. It's like you have to read in between the lines, and then you have these pictures, which we haven't even confirmed yet, like that last page that you just showed. Which means that it's going to be relevant to look at it later, once more content has been revealed. And that's cool, because that makes the art book relevant later too.
Yeah, so if anyone wants me to show off more pictures, I can.
I should remove the spoiler tag, right?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, there we go.
But yeah, if people want me to highlight more pages, I can. I just wanted to highlight stuff that I thought was cool from every chapter.
Someone said that they thought it was ICC. Yeah, that last picture, when it was blurry at first, I at first sight I did think it's ICC, but then with a closer look, it was not ICC.
Yeah, let me zoom in. It's hard because it's the final page, so it's hard to get it to lay straight. But yeah, when you look at it, it's clearly a off of some cliffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's water below.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Someone in chat mentioned Torghast.
Yeah, it could be an early version of Torghast. Like all the pictures of Torghast though are like having it like float in the sky as an endless tower, and this clearly has some ice coming from it or something at the bottom. So that this clearly has a basement. So, but maybe it's like Torghast before bad stuff happened to it, or as much bad stuff happened to it. Yeah,
interesting thoughts.
Really cool book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show.
Okay.
These are the Maw Armor Sets.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were wondering if we could collect these in the future. Speculation that, you know, there's something bigger coming with them, especially because they have matching weapons. Maybe they're part of an upcoming raid. And I think their inclusion in this book shows that, yeah, it is possible that they'll play a bigger role in the future. So, yeah. So thank you to Blizzard for giving me the Collector's Edition to review. I really like the art book. I'm really happy they brought the art book back after no art book in BFA. And I think the pins are a lot of fun as well and work if you like wearing things or just displaying things on your wall. So,
as a quick sort of TLDR of it, if you want to make a quick comparison between BFA Collector's Edition and this Collector's Edition.
Yeah, actually, I can
what's
actually
the main
show
difference?
It. So the main difference is the BFA Collector's Edition had a paperweight instead of a pin. I can actually, one second, I can show it. Okay, so they had this faction paperweight collectible instead of a pin. And then instead of an art book, they had an illustrated high quality published a novella of the events leading up to the burning of Teldrassil. So it was this double-sided book with the Alliance and Horde stories on both sides. And while it wasn't officially an art book, but there were a lot of like black and white illustrations such as this, but it wasn't a book dedicated to art. So yeah, so the big difference was we had more of a short story with a paperweight versus an art book with 4 pins.
Gotcha. So at first sight, then at least, Shadowlands feels like it gives more in a way.
Yeah, well, it's also more expensive, I think, slightly more expensive. But yeah, you do get more from it. And just to compare, this was the first one I think Blizzard sent me. This is the Legion box. Just to compare, all these boxes open differently, so I'm the contents are falling out. So this was the Legion art book.
Okay.
And I don't think it had as much of a like narrative flow to it. It was just like, here's a bunch. There was a lot of pages that were just like armor, and it's really cool armor, but it wasn't like armor and a little quote about, you know, Sylvanas or something like that. Or it was pretty basic stuff like, you know, like a sentence being like, Xavius is in the Emerald Nightmare. Okay. So the emphasis was more on the art here. Although I do think they ended up teasing some things that weren't in at launch, which was pretty cool. Like I think when this book came out, I'm not sure Mischief was out yet.
Oh. Yeah. So small things like that. So
yeah,
in a way, it's a little bit more similar to the Shadowlands one than the BFA one. Yeah.
Although I think I prefer how the Shadowlands ones tries to like build up the hype for it and explain why. Like it give you some context for all the pretty art.
Gotcha.
And let's put this back without knocking over the plushies. Yay, we did it almost. I think a Wowhead rocket is.
Oh.
Wowhead, no. The Wowhead
Oh,
rocket
no.
is like. There we go.
There we go.
Got that.
Mm-hmm.
Got that. We're good. Oh, I just realized Brightpaw had knocked these over at some point. Good job. I have such a focus play. But yeah, actually, if you saw the post I did on the collector's edition, I was using this paperweight to hold the art book open on some of the pages that I didn't really want to open. Yeah, so
nice detail.
It's very heavy. It's very
Yeah, I remember that thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very good for what it does, and it's pretty too.
Yeah, and Brightpaw is biting it.
Yep.
Hello, Brightpaw. You've returned.
Now I'm back on the screen too. Hello, everyone. In case you forgot. My face, here I am. And Brightpaw's like, yeah, well, in case you forgot me, I'm here too now.
Yes. We're actually going to talk about cats later on in the show, Brightpaw. All cats go to Revendreth.
Oh, yeah,
what do you
true.
have to say about that? Yes, you all have little cat sinstones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think if no one else wants to see any specific pages from the art book, we can do another quick recap of what is going away before the pre-patch, and a special shout out to the rank 4 Essence confusion, and highlight some other news.
Yeah. So pre-patch is tomorrow, October 13th. For all NA players. For EU, like myself, we can expect pre-patch a day later, so on the 13th on Wednesday. The main thing that you will probably notice as you log in already on the character selection screen is that you are now level 50. No longer 120, and all your other alts, in case they are at different level ranges, they will also be squished down to according numbers to what their level is. The next thing that you might notice pretty quickly too is if you look at your gear, all corruptions are also gone. And even that is like a huge difference. Like that really marks that BFA is now over and we are getting ready for Shadowlands. Is there anything else which is like a huge, impossible to not notice?
Well, the character creation screen is totally different.
True. So general
when
revamp.
you log in, it's going to look different. Your characters will be in different poses. If you make a new character, they'll like the sample character will have fancier armor, and if you change your appearance, it's like more organized as well. It just looks a lot more modern.
And speaking of appearances,
you can't really miss.
Yes. Yeah. And speaking of appearances, if you do happen to give the barbershop a visit, you will probably notice a lot of new added things in there. For example, the change that was announced a couple months ago where changing gender is now free. Used to be a paid service before on the Battle.net website, and now it's a free thing. So you can go to the barbershop and change from girl to guy whenever you want. Or other way around.
Yeah. You can also do a lot of interesting things at the barbershop as a druid, like changing your bear and cat tints separately your hair color or markings. So you can be a guardian druid and you can use like a glowing artifact appearance without needing to have Claws of Earthstock equipped. Or you can be like, well, I'm using guardian weapons, but I also want to customize my feral appearance, and I can have one form using the guardian appearance, another form using the feral appearance without having to like swap back and forth between weapon transmog. So that is pretty cool. And Worgen can also change their human and Worgen forms separately. Before it was like certain human, like an eye color would be tied to a Worgen fur color and vice versa, but they have separated all that out now, so you can have a lot more customization flexibility.
Yep. And with the level change, we do also have eye level change, as someone in the chat mentioned, or not eye level change, eye level squish, which I guess is a change, but specifically it's a squish, not just a change. And heirlooms no longer have experience bonus. And speaking of experience, there's also some consumables which are turning gray. Certain experience consumables which will no longer be usable. So you may want to pop them and use them quickly today if you still have them on you.
Yeah. Along with leveling being level 50, Blizzard has revamped how leveling is done. So you are losing the experience from heirlooms, and as well as Winds of Wisdom is finally gone after like a year. So no experience buff from that too. But what leveling should not take as much time in the pre-patch because the experience is streamlined to where you pick one continent to go from 10 to 50 in. And previously, you would kind of hop around from a few continents. But now the idea is that brand new characters do this zone called Exile's Reach. And then when they're done from that, they pick a continent to do chromie time in. And then when they hit 50, then you can go off and do Shadowlands stuff.
Yep.
So I feel like if you're not a max level character, you're like whatever. But if you are thinking of alts or if you're a brand new player, your mind will be like blown because I feel the brand new players or the casuals are not really following Shadowlands as much. And they're going to be the ones that are affected more by this if they, log on and they're like level 30 and they're being told that they have to, pick a zone to do chromie time in. And they're like, what's going on? But yeah, why don't we talk about some things that are going away in the pre-patch and the rank 4 essence confusion?
I think that sounds like a good idea.
So there are many things going away in the pre-patch, including the ability to buy the Longboy from the vendor. A lot of seasonal Season 4 achievements like the Mythic 15 mount and Gladiator titles. We mentioned the experience things going away. And ahead of the curve and cutting edge achievements. However, one thing that is not going away, the Jaina and N'Zoth mounts are still going to be 100% dropped through the pre-patch, but they may be more difficult to obtain if your raid has to adjust to, like scaling issues or having no corruption. Maybe you'll feel weaker. So it may be more difficult to obtain, but hopefully shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, I think Blizzard specified that content is not supposed to get harder. So if it does feel harder in the first week, supposed to. If it does end up feeling a lot harder, it's probably going to be fixed at least by the next reset. But you never know with Blizzard how long things take. Maybe they'll instantly hotfix it. Maybe forget it forever. I don't know. But usually, I think this happened in the last expansion. There were some bosses that were a bit overtuned and they fixed it a few days later. So, you shouldn't expect content to be harder, but in case it is, heads up that hopefully Blizzard will fix it. It shouldn't be. And it's nice that you mentioned the mounts because, yes, the achievement ahead of the curve is going away, but the mount will still be available. A lot of people have asked me this thing because I used to do these boost runs for people in EU, and those boost runs can continue. You just won't get the achievement, but you will still get the mount, which later becomes unobtainable as well once the Shadowlands expansion properly hits the servers. So for now, you can continue running those heroic raids, buying a boost for gold if that's interesting, or join these free boosts as well. You can do that until the expansion is live.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Brawler's Guild is temporarily going away, and I feel that people weren't really aware of that until the patch notes. So this also means that the mystery quest to earn Bruce is also not going to be obtainable.
Does that mean Brawler's Guild now has 2 unobtainable mounts?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was unclear, but then some Blizzard devs were like, "Oh, I finally got this before it went away," and people were like, "Oh, I guess it's going away." But yeah, people have been
so go and do it.
The Wowhead guide. Yeah,
go and finish your Brawler's Guild before it's gone.
Yeah,
that's another mount which will disappear.
But yeah, speaking of things that we were unsure about, interesting situation arose. Yeah. Yeah, this was something we actually highlighted your tweet on this, Annie.
I saw. Thank you for highlighting it.
There's a lot of confusion surrounding what is happening to rank 4 essences, because Blizzard first said in July that all rank 4 essences can't be earned once Shadowlands hits launch. And then in August, they said that the achievement for getting all the initial essences, phenomenal cosmic power, won't be obtainable in the pre-patch, but that certain rank essences are being removed early, but they didn't say all. They said certain.
Yeah, and they didn't specify which ones.
Right. And then in the patch notes from October 8th, they don't mention the achievement at all, but they say rank 4 essences are no longer obtainable. So, like, that is making a lot of people be confused because players assumed that you couldn't get the achievement when pre-patch hits. But if you wanted to collect essences for whatever reason, the only ones that were going away were like the seasonal ones, like, Queen Ashara Mythic or, Keystone Season 3 or Hertzlocker. But people didn't assume that the ones from like Paragon Chest would be going away in the pre-patch. And now with the patch wording, people are like, wait, like, what about the ones added in 8.3 or the RNG ones or the ones that don't really require a lot of skill? Are those going away in pre-patch or launch?
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
opened my last Paragon chest today. It is impossible for me to get another 10,000
Aww.
rep. So it is officially my last box. It's my last rank 4 essence. The Oldham one that I'm missing, and I did not get it, unfortunately. So I am hoping for some last minute change of like, actually, you can still obtain these during the pre-patch, but I'm not sure if my hopes are that high since Blizzard has been quiet about this topic. I have a question to you, Perk, though. I haven't really been on the PTR much, but can you even is the neck still clickable? Can you see what essences you've had in the past?
I think
sorry,
so because
in Shadowlands. Sorry, not in pre-patch.
I think so. I mean, like, it's not going away, and only the rank 4 can't be collected, but the other ranks can still be collected. So you could, like, people can still get rank 3s. I think they just don't. It's the cosmetic effects of the rank 4 they want to keep as the prestige thing.
Okay.
Another
so they're not going
thing,
away then. So I'm always going to be bothered by the fact that I don't have one of them.
Yes. Another thing I thought was weird is I feel like could have promoted this better. So it's with Conflict and Strife. So if you hit elite rating this week, it may be too late to get phenomenal cosmic power or maybe even the essence because it's not
no
just
chest, right?
Right, it's like you have to loot the chest after the reset. So if you loot the chest after the reset, you would be looting the chest in the pre-patch when you can't get the achievement anymore.
Interesting.
So a lot of people were like, "Oh, feels bad," like you needed to basically finish all that up 2 weeks before the pre-patch, not the last week.
Yeah, I think I've had a few people come to my stream and be like, "Hey Annie, I just got 2.4 elite ranking. Am I still gonna get my rank 4 essence?" And I'm like, I don't actually know. It would
Right, and now I'm confused because I'm like, well, maybe it wouldn't count for the achievement, but like, will you even get this from the chest, or will the chest will Blizzard flip a switch and have the chest like will be like Shadowlands mode? So I think that would have been pretty good to clear up. But yeah, no reply on this, so little sad. I'm sorry about your Uldum chest. It's like weird because it's not even part of the achievement, so it's like it doesn't really require skill. It's just rep. So why? I don't know. It feels strange to remove.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the Paragon chests ones should continue being available, or potentially just make them available but remove achievement. Yeah, things like that. I understand the seasonal things like PvP and Mythic Plus, but I don't understand why this or just increase the luck a lot. I've been doing dailies every single day for the past month and opened several chests and no luck. I guess I should have started earlier. I did not do it religiously from the beginning, so.
I'm sure you did it a lot more than most people, so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I find that a lot of people have been getting it before reaching even 10 chests. And so I feel like I've just been very unlucky. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't kept count of how many I have, sadly. I don't know how many I've opened. But yeah, that's
But
on
yeah.
essences.
So
It was indeed a confusing
yeah.
topic because a lot of people uh, were confused about how the different messages from Blizzard were kind of implying different things. But I feel like the official blue post there on the patch notes saying all rank 4 essences, or it says rank 4 essences are no longer obtainable. I feel like that speaks very clear
Yeah.
and means that they will all be gone. So
Yep.
there it is.
So I'm thinking of other stuff. We covered the leveling changes. We covered the customization changes. I think before we highlight some other news, I just wanted to do like a quick spotlight on the Wowhead guides for the pre-patch because we've been doing so much work with them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are curious about customization, oh yes, well I'm getting ahead of myself. I made this like little shitpost article this morning being like the zombie invasion isn't coming the day of the pre-patch, and everyone was like, oh my god, really? And I'm like, yeah, like every other event, it doesn't start the day of the pre-patch. So I put
Happens
this
later.
up and people were like, but like what can I do in the pre-patch then? And I'm like, oh, there are classes and customization and leveling. So I just wanted to spotlight that yes, you can still do things in the pre-patch if you are interested in leveling. Wowhead has a bunch of leveling guides as well as explaining all the weird ins and outs of chromie time and what level you will be if you are not level 120 to 50, and how flying changes and all of that fun stuff. For customization, you can test that out on the PTR, and we also have the Shadowlands dressing room,
Mm-hmm.
so you can try all that out on Wowhead before you make a character. And it's not live at the time of the live show, but I believe today we are finally updating our dressing room to look more modern and more in the style of the Blizzard Shadowlands creation options. So we're really excited to have it like look fresh and easier to use. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the class changes, we have guides. We've updated all of our guides, but we also made new class guides, just specifically focusing on the biggest pre-patch concerns, like did my class change a lot? Like,
Mm-hmm.
did the AoE caps affect me? Like, will I feel really bad with, no corruption? I have 10 new abilities, but are they all utility or will they make me feel OP? So we tried to really just answer everyone's top concerns about their class changing in the pre-patch, and all of that has been live, and all of that is really easily clickable via Wowhead's front page and a bunch of like very obviously labeled menus on the front page.
Nice.
So
Mm-hmm.
check that out, and really good job, Wowhead Guide team.
Yeah, great job, guys, keeping things up to date like that, making it easy for the rest of us.
So now I think we can highlight some of the actual news that has been going on. News outside of the daily hectic class tuning hotfixes that seem to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And one of these has to do with leveling, which was quite interesting. People were understandably feeling bad where if you hit level 50, you would just get booted out of chromie time.
Oh yeah, we mentioned
And
this last week. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they changed it to where you can disable experience gains and then you can still keep questing in that time walking bubble,
That's great.
which people seemed really happy about that
Mm-hmm.
for twin reasons. And also, if you wanted to actually enjoy the story and maybe have like an element of danger and do things at a level appropriate speed, you couldn't do that when you got booted out of chromie time, but now
Yeah.
you can actually complete a story campaign.
Mm-hmm. And
So I think that's a
sometimes,
really good idea.
yeah, definitely. And sometimes you may not even be immersed in the story, but you just want to complete the storyline. It feels annoying that you're just booted out. Like, my brain would hurt if I feel like I didn't get to complete my quest. I wasn't able to hand that in, and I'm now being booted. And we talked about this last week, and we mentioned that one possible fix could be to just greatly or significantly reduce experience, but it seems like now it's just turning it off, and I think that's great too. That's really good.
Yeah, plus like if you are questing with your friends, it's weird if you get booted out and your
Yeah,
friend
and
at a
they stay
slightly
in
lower
there.
level is still
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that hello Great Paw. I think that is interesting, and a lot of people have also been saying that if Blizzard ever does something like Classic TBC or Classic Wrath, those zones haven't really gotten updates, so you could almost turn off. You could almost like do speed runs in on using Chromie time now to get through all those zones, like practice questing quickly and then try to
Oh
replicate that if
yeah,
those classic realms go live.
that's true. Because those didn't have a revamp.
No.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
Although
yeah,
the
so
XP gain and things will be probably very different, but it's still in terms of routing that
yeah.
can be interesting.
Yeah. So that was a good change Blizzard made. It seems they've been doing a lot of last minute changes. Like they even replied to us on Sunday over a Pandaria Portal Bug.
Oh.
So yeah, it was like, oh, apparently if you wanted to zone into Pandaria, you crashed on the PTR, but not beta. So people were concerned that that was going to be broken when the pre-patch went live, and people were sad because they're like, I like farming Pandaria for my mounts.
Mm-hmm.
And Blizzard actually replied to us on the weekend saying they had fixed it internally, but it didn't make it to the PTR, and expect that it shouldn't be an issue for Tuesday. So they've been,
Okay.
I think, responding a lot to a lot of Chromie time leveling things. They also said that they hadn't really fixed like Shadowlands PvE trinkets yet because their focus is on Chromie time because that's what people are seeing right now.
Gotcha.
And Brightpaw is back. Hello, Brightpaw. Oh, just in time, Brightpaw, come back. I want to pick you up. Brightpaw, we're discussing cats.
Yep.
Brightpaw, our next topic is on cats. Brightpaw.
Cat on the beta. Oh, I think I heard him.
Yes, that he was. No, don't knock water over Brightpaw. He's now sitting on top of the BFA paperweight.
Aw. Yeah, that's a nice little throne he's got.
Yes. But yes, maybe if we talk about cats, he'll jump back in my lap.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very small but important battle pet update in the latest beta build. There is a cat named Lucy, and the flavor text is Lucy was sent to Revendreth, as all cats are, and somehow escaped. When questioned, local dredgers blamed it on her being a cat. So,
yep. So all cats go to Revendreth.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, they are very proud and get in trouble, but I think they also like Revendreth because there's lots of expensive things to sit on. Like it's a very comfortable zone.
As you say that, Brightpaw is just enjoying your arm there.
Yes.
Like, don't mind me just, sleeping a little bit here.
Yes. So maybe the cats go to Revendreth for fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a spectral cat, which is also exciting because I think we don't have too many, and some are associated like the spectral TCG pet. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting how there's another one that is not going to cost real life money.
Yep.
And there are some costumes for the Perky Pug as well, like the adorable Ascended and Flying Fairy costumes, and we don't have pictures of them yet. I will check with Stevan, but I'm sure they look very cute as well. And we just need Pepe costumes now to complete everything. This was another topic that Blizzard did a very quick turnaround on.
Yeah, this was quite a hot topic. The idea of... So Blizzard mentioned that they were going to not let people use Covenant abilities outside of Shadowlands, which was met with a lot of complaints. People didn't like that. It didn't feel nice that you play in a certain way, but as soon as you leave the zone, those things are gone. And Blizzard quickly responded to this, saying, hey, you know what? It was a difficult decision in the first place for us, so we agree with you guys that all right, maybe we should not put that limitation in. And they actually had a thought process around this as well. The reason why they had made it like that was for towards the end of the expansion, or after the expansion even, when the covenants become, or when they are basically gone, to get ready for the new expansion, instead of feeling stripped off of the new things that you just got, you would kind of be used to it from when leaving the Shadowlands already. And they decided in the end that that feeling of a smoother transition later is not worth the naked feeling during the expansion. So they're keeping it in so that we can fully enjoy and play around with these abilities in the outdoors.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this the last show as well. Like Blizzard, I feel that if they remove it, it's not going to feel good in a few years, but Blizzard's going to have much bigger problems when you suddenly don't have your, soul binds or like really there are bigger things you're going to lose if they built up this system on par with class identity and it's suddenly gone.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna give us something, then we have to be able to use it the whole time, even if it's temporary. It does not feel good to get half a cookie just because it feels worse to lose a half a cookie than it does to lose a whole cookie. So it's good that they reverted this change.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I think it's just like a bigger looming problem on the horizon that they built up really elaborate Shadowlands systems, and if they go away, it's going to feels bad. And do they then have to create an even bigger system for the next expansion and delay the next expansion even more? Do they need like 5 borrowed power systems, not 4? So
I do hope that with all the work and time put into these Shadowlands systems, that I think it's too late now, but maybe for the expansion after, to put less time into those temporary systems and rework the talent system. There's very few people that are happy with the talent system. The time spent into soulbinds and conduits and all those things, why not spend some of that time towards building a system which will be there in the longer term? I'm hoping to see something like that for our next expansion, but maybe it's a little bit too early to have that discussion now. It was just a thought because there's a lot of systems being introduced now.
Let me see if I can Google this quickly, but I'm pretty sure that Ian had an interview leading up to Shadowlands where he was talking about how they wanted to have more systems that wouldn't just go away.
Yeah, a bigger tree of talents could be a good start to that. Give you, not like, don't make it super spec specific, make it interesting too. So for example, a fire mage can decide to put some talent into, I don't know, something which is for frost, like maybe double ice block or whatever. Like, instead of making it very rigid on what you're supposed to have because of your spec, allow some crosses, with some kind of elaborate system.
Yeah, I can't. Oh my god, I'm trying to Google like Ian and this, and I'm getting things like why higher thermal expansion coefficients, water handbook, like ion exchange, and I'm like, no, this is not what I want, Google.
Yeah, this is the wrong
topic. The top post is Ian on covenant abilities, but the rest are just like ion energy spectrum of expanding laser plasma. And I'm just like, no, this is not
chemistry lesson.
Yeah, but believe me, Ian did an interview leading up to Shadowlands where he was talking about how it feels bad to lose things as you level up and go from expansion to expansion, and it felt bad in Legion, and they are trying to do more things like returning abilities to help you, I don't know, to just make things feel better going from BFA to Shadowlands. And I thought as part of that interview, he mentioned something to the effect of just trying to add things that always feel good, like abilities, as opposed to building expansion-specific systems.
Yeah.
But it seems like Blizzard's maybe trying to do both, because we are getting, covenants are very, very much expansion-specific system.
Yeah, so. And it's a lot of work that they've put into that. There's
Yeah.
so many layers, and I feel like they could have easily reduced the layers, and the Covenant system would still feel really cool. And add one layer of something to make talents a little bit more hybrid again. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for when I was saying crossing before. To make them a little bit more hybrid again. Not so not so boring and specific where it's like, yeah, you're a destruction warlock, so there's a talent here for your chaos bolt. But make it like you're a destruction warlock, but hey, you can pick this talent which is usually only affiliated with affliction warlocks, in case you want to be a little bit of a mix.
And that's how, Blizzard is all like, oh, we're into class fantasy now, not spec fantasy. So it's
Yeah,
like,
then
hey,
it would
well,
make sense.
yeah. So, but yeah, I just feel that they've really dipped into the expansion specific systems this time, which even, caused the delay due to the high end balance. So, hopefully in the future they'll realize, like, what's all going to happen to this when Shadowlands ends, like,
Yeah.
Soulbinds and Conduits, like that's all going away.
That's such a good point as well. From their own economic point of view, for their own planning, and like they delayed an expansion because they have to pay these devs to spend more time on things which will be gone from the game in a few years. So if you put that time into something which lasts longer, it may not have had to be rushed so fast because it's not Covenant specific, and balancing and things like that would be easier too with less layers.
Also, it's like, if it's a really good idea, then it's also like, well, why is this now stuck as an expansion specific thing? It's like, why can't we just think outside the box? And if people really love the idea of something, why can't it just be an ongoing thing, as opposed to like, oh, well, here's an ability we liked and is borrowed power, so we'll make sure that it stays in the game as a different borrowed power for expansions in a row. But yeah, it seems like maybe some of these systems, like I don't know, I just feel so weird that there's so many bits to Covenants and it's all expansion specific.
Yeah. And like, I do think it's really cool that we are getting talent trees, in the form of soulbinds. I think that's actually really cool. It's just sad that it's so specific instead of being general class ones instead.
Yeah, so I mean, I know they talked about how garrisons, like back in the day, seemed to be a really big undertaking, and they tried to reuse parts of it, like like it was Legion missions, and like some of the tech was used for the Mage Tower in Legion, and then the mobile app. So they seem to have gotten some value out of garrisons being reused. But I hope that with the Shadowlands systems that they'll be able to reuse a lot of this tech, because there are so many things they are building with it that right now just seem to have a limited shelf life.
Yep.
But yeah, so as far as other Shadowlands news, it's been a lot of undocumented data mined class tuning. We had updates, I think, 4 days last week, and we are kind of expecting more this week. But it's pretty much ever shifting. We're not going to cover it on the show, but definitely check the data mining to see if anything pops up each day for that. Not too much to say besides that, lots of tuning appears to be going on, and hopefully people will be happy, although things are always wonky in the pre-patch because like you don't have all your abilities, you don't have covenants, all that stuff. In less happy news, Activision Blizzard is closing the Versailles, France office.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about that. It makes me really sad because a lot of my main Blizzard contacts, since I'm EU, have been at the French office, and now it's closing down. And I wonder what that means.
Yeah. And it's a really big deal, especially that it's in France, because they have pretty good labor laws, so you can't do things on a whim. So there has to be a lot of paperwork. It's a real pain to do something like this. The office originally had around 400 people, and it was mostly in marketing, customer service, and localization. After the 2019 layoffs, It was reduced to 260, and there were some plans to move to London, but then COVID and Brexit hit. And yeah, people aren't sure what's going on. Like, will the EU customer service roles be moved to remote positions, or moved to US customer service?
Yeah, like what will happen to the workers too? Do they just lose their job?
Yeah, I think they said that due to French labor laws, they have to get pretty decent unemployment packages.
Okay.
But it's still like
It's still
it just feels
stressful.
sad.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the office? Like, I know it was, people
I
really like
never
the
got a
Kerrigan
chance.
statue outside, and I know that
Mm.
they did a lot of like EU fan site things back in the day. I remember with classic WoW, someone got banned, so the guildmates marched on
Oh,
the
really?
Versailles office, even though it was shut. Yeah, it just, yeah,
That's
it's, I
funny.
mean, it's always sad when, like a main headquarters
Yeah, it's like
shuts
a hub.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and of course, I feel like the news story died down, but the Blizzard employees were still calling for, fair wages a few months
Mm-hmm.
ago, and how, yes, Irvine is expensive, so maybe their rates look good, but it's still a lot lower than other companies in the same city. So it wasn't really that competitive. And since then, Mike Morheim launched Dreamhaven, which many Blizzard employees joined.
Oh yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
this might even be more pressure on Blizzard, or more negative PR, that it seems, ex Blizzard people are thriving while they are, and, talking about, not having to listen to, corporate goals or schedules. And meanwhile, Blizzard is, kind of like counting pennies here.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that is what is up with that.
Yeah, I
And,
really hope it won't affect the EU people too much to lose this.
yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for promoting remote work. But it is still good to have an office that you can have meetings at after COVID ends for, important business things.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's still nice to have a hub, even if you let people work from home most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I agree.
Um,
And it's existed for a long time.
yeah, it's sort of like, I mean, on a bigger scale, but it reminds me when Blizzard decided they just wouldn't be present at Gamescom one year.
Oh
And it's like,
yeah.
oh, you've always been at
That
Gamescom.
was
Like,
last year, right?
yeah, that was last
And
year.
then this year COVID, so no games come 2 years.
But they did announce the Bastion at Gamescom, the cinematic.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's true.
Yeah, it was like
That's true.
online Gamescom.
Yeah. Just no physical one is what I meant.
So, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
just sort of sad. It feels like end of an era. Like, I know, especially that it felt like EU community was really in touch with their influencers and fan sites, and I know they would do summits, or they would send you guys like cool press things, or um I like, there just seemed to like a lot of launcher promo. I think EU had started that, and
Yeah,
I know
when
it
we
just
lost
seems
that,
sad. Yeah.
it never
So
came
it just
back.
feels like they're saving a few bucks,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. It's just like you need that human, cozier touch.
Yeah. Well,
So
hopefully it means that the other offices might take in more people, and maybe with COVID they realize people working from home actually works fine. Um, I guess we'll see what this means in the long run.
yeah. So for our final story, it's a bit on the sillier side,
Yep.
but this was more people were more interested on this on social media than they were the expansion being delayed. So I figure we should talk about this. Um, the Witcher season 2 had new promo pictures, and fans kind of lost their minds and photoshopped the armor to resemble Arthas.
Yep.
And then that led to, wouldn't it be cool if there was an Arthas movie or TV series? Also, really good timing with Shadowlands. And people had so much fun photoshopping the armor, different versions of the Lich King, versions of Arthas before he was the Lich King, adding things like, the Alliance Lion to the armor. And people really, even the actors started responding to these, being like, I approve of this picture.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
So,
Like a little fun, in the space of things and a crossing of worlds since we have the gaming with the actors and he already did act in Witcher, which was also a game. And it, brings us hope that maybe Arthas would potentially get some screen time in a future series.
something which I find interesting is that it felt like the Warcraft movie came out like right before Twitch, like right before Twitch and like modern social media, and
Before gaming
I didn't.
mainstream.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of build up. It was more just like Hollywood's decided to make a movie, and then we were like fed very like PR, like very polished, high production stills, and it felt kind of fake. And I feel that the sort of viral hype surrounding people wanting Arthas is a good indication that this would probably do well. Like the movie was more like, oh, we've decided that, orcs are a good place to start, so we're starting with the orcs, and you will like the orcs because you play WoW. While
Mm-hmm.
with this, I think that if you have the fans photoshopping things and speculating how it would look, and then you have the actor who is, like likes playing games and WoW in his spare time joining in, and you're seeing Facebook likes, Twitter likes for this outpacing, the actual expansion being delayed. To me, if I was a movie person, I'd be like, like the
Yeah.
timing, like people seem really receptive. Like we were sad that the US audience didn't see the Warcraft movie, but maybe we did the wrong topic. Maybe they would go see this instead because they are like, it just looks cool and the story is easier. Like you follow
Mm-hmm.
this heroic character whose like loyalty and vengeance was his undoing, and it's a very compelling story as opposed to humans versus orcs that just sort of ended on this open-ended note, and so much of it had to be changed and it still didn't even totally make sense.
Mm-hmm. And I think also
So
for people who may not be interested in the fantasy things, a story like Arthas would be a little bit easier for somebody to watch and enjoy, which means that it could, be more popular on a mainstream level as well. And I think we've already seen like signs of this with, with Henry being in the Witcher series. So I think it's definitely a good time right now for more games and gaming in general to be part of more mainstream series and movies. And I think Arthas would be the perfect fit right now, at least, especially with him becoming a big topic now in Shadowlands too.
yeah, it also feels that the movie was done at a time when WoW had this dual identity of like trying to be serious but also very like jokey as well, and there were, a lot of like Easter eggs. Like the tone of the movie was a little all over the place, trying to be serious but also cartoonish at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that with BFA and especially Shadowlands, Blizzard is trying to do like really polished, serious, adult media. We're getting a lot more books. We are getting, like dark fairy tales based on Shadowlands. We have things like Warbringers,
Mm-hmm.
the Afterlives series. Like they're trying to do more sophisticated things with storytelling, and I think having a kind of, cool, realistic looking Arthas story, people would be in the mood from that. Maybe learning from the lessons of Game of Thrones that you shouldn't have terrible lighting with everything. But we've seen with Game of Thrones that people really like, zombies and undead things and ice dragons.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember even when the ice dragon came out, people were like, "Oh, that's like Arthas and Syndragosa." And people were memeing that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just think that people are in the right mindset to have a serious narrative like Arthas that is just billed as like, from the Warcraft fantasy universe, here's a, compelling, tale of a hero that turned into a villain, as opposed to like, oh, we're trying to be jokey and like have the movie tie in with the expansion, which then got delayed. Like, I feel looking back, the movie's pitch was like, I think too meta, or trying to like get inside gamers' heads without actually looking at what gamers were talking about and being hype.
Yeah.
And like the larger geek fandom.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
also, like you mentioned, with the divergences, the story differences from game to movie were also a bit of a negative, because it makes it feel less World of Warcraft, because it's different. And then people who may not be interested in fantasy already have like that disconnection. So it was definitely a difficult concept to get through at that time, especially. I feel like we have more similar things going on now that are more mainstream. Like, I think Game of Thrones also opened a lot of new interest to this idea of like fantasy and flying dragons. And I think, yeah, a Warcraft series would do good today.
yeah, I think if they just stuck to telling one story
Yeah,
and
one.
kept the
Mm-hmm.
tone serious, and decided like maybe a TV series, like I feel like a
Mm-hmm.
Netflix
Yeah,
TV
like a
series
Netflix
would
show. Mm-hmm.
do really well. So that they don't have to cram a story into one thing. And if they did seasons, then it could be like, oh, well, they're not going to tell you what happens to Arthas because Shadowlands isn't out yet, but in season 2, maybe after the next expansion, we bring back another TV series to,
Mm-hmm.
trace this character further.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that yeah, I feel like Arthas, with the more like dark fantasy angle as opposed to like cartoonish sprawling fantasy, I feel like that would do really well.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Blizzard has
Hoping.
learned from the lessons of the past, and they
Mm-hmm.
would want more control of a movie in the future. I even had a coworker saying like, wouldn't it be awesome if we do see Arthas return in Shadowlands, if they brought the actor in to like announce the reveal? Like, even if there's no movie, it's just
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
joking that he likes Arthas, everyone's photoshopping him as Arthas. Like, wouldn't it be cool if it's like, oh, and like Henry is now going to like do the content reveal for patch 9.3,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Those
Yeah.
crossovers are amazing. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that'd be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our final show topic.
Yeah, that was all the topics from last week to now. And now what we can do is sit and wait for the pre-patch. If there's anything that you haven't done, go and do it before it's gone. There's certain solo things, like the Brawlers Guild that we mentioned. You can watch the beginning of the show again if you want to get into those things that we were talking about, things to keep in consideration. A quick note on the ahead of the curve mount, that is not going away, so you don't need to stress about that. That is still obtainable
Just the
during the
achievement.
pre-patch. The achievement is going away, sorry, but the mount is not.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's a little. I feel
It
like
can
a
be a
lot
little
of the
bit
things
confusing.
going away. It's like between the essences and like the
Mm-hmm.
mount is staying, but the achievement, it's like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
tongue tying. Yeah.
Indeed. And yeah, the level squish is happening. So when you log in after pre-patch, you will be level 50 instead of 120. And yeah, and class changes are also in place. So you might see some new abilities, you might have lost some abilities, and corruptions are gone too.
Yep. AoE target caps, GCD changes. But yeah. When we do our next show, we may also have some more goodies to share with you guys. Just depends how fast things ship to me. So
Yeah.
we may have I may have more unboxings to do, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I just saw somebody ask, Jaina mount still droppable with 100% chance? Someone answers no. Another person answers yes. And then he answers himself and says maybe.
We
Yes.
covered this. Yeah.
It's still 100%, but the achievement is already gone for that one. Yeah,
It may just be
still
more difficult if like you don't feel as OP with your corruption gone.
Yeah, so Mythic Mounts, so Jaina and Nazoth will still be available until Shadowlands hits. And, well, they will still be available later on too, but then they switch into a 1% chance.
Yeah. They
The
won't be guaranteed.
They won't be guaranteed anymore. They will be a rare mount. The other one, Ahead of the Curve mount, is 100% to any participant of killing Heroic Nazoth. That mount will be gone forever when Shadowlands hits.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that wasn't too confusing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And that is
Yeah.
everything for today, guys. Thank
Yeah,
you guys so much for watching.
Right, Paul went away. But yeah, really fun that you guys could join us as we showed up the art book. Hopefully you saw something new. And if you want to see any page, let me know. Maybe I'll tweet out more pages. I've got a few articles up on the site about it. But yeah, big thanks to Blizzard for sending this. Really appreciate it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And the rest of us are sitting here jealous of Perk. That's okay though. That's okay. Not crying.
Yeah, I actually I never could afford them when it came out, so I know a lot of people have all of them, but I just have the ones Blizzard has sent me. So they sent me one starting in Legions, so I have that, but all the older ones I'm like, yeah, like, you know, I was happy to play WoW, but I didn't have a lot of money back in the day, so I don't want to feel like me being a good fan means that I must like spend all the money. It's like no, like I was still a fan even though I couldn't buy a collector's box.
Legion is my first one too, and
yeah,
I believe that was also gifted to me by Blizzard. So yeah, same boat.
Yeah.
Same boat. Are you ready for the high five, Perk?
I am ready for the high five. I'm just realizing Brightpaw dragged a Pepe on my desk, so we have a Pepe. I just feel like merchandise just floats around to this room behind me. Yeah. There's always something popping up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm ready for the high five. I think is this my correct hand? I know we don't have a guess, so
that's it.
Cool.
Perfect.
Okay, you can do the sound. All right, so we're gonna go. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. High five done. Social distancing does allow high fives online using Discord, Zoom, or whatever other service that you are interested in. It's very safe. You can do it with mask off, no problem, as long as you're sticking to the screens. But yeah, we will be back next week, same time. In case there's new people here, we do this show every Monday, cover the news that have been out between the shows that week where we are gone. And so between now and next week, the pre-patch will be live, and we will tell you guys like, hey, you know, the bosses were actually overtuned and it became impossible to kill Nazoth on Heroic. You know, we don't know what to expect, but hopefully things aren't crazily tuned and you can still kill the bosses that you were killing before, because that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Stay safe, everyone, and see you again next week. Thank you again so much for supporting. I believe there was one more resub that we did not.
Thank you.
I can't see the name now, but I believe there was one more that we missed. But thank you. Thank you for all the subs and resubs. Yeah. And Pepe is here too, saying goodbye.
Yep. Nope, right, plus we have a Pepe.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized, so I got these new lights set up in the back, and I can change the color. You know, for example, I can turn it red, but it should be blue for the Alliance.
Yes, for the Alliance. Yes.
Yes, we're sticking to blue now. I just really like purple. I think purple looks nice.
It's like both factions.
True, it's a mixture of both. All right, I like that. Okay, I'm sticking to purple. We're all friends here, okay?
Yeah.
We're all friends. Oh, that's actually a very good point, Perk. Smart one.
Yeah.
But yeah, see y'all next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to drop a follow. This will also be uploaded to YouTube, so in case you didn't have time to watch everything, you can wait for it to be on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube already, yeah, this show is normally streamed live on Twitch Mondays, 1 p.m. PST and 10 p.m. CEST if you're interested in catching it live, which means that you can ask questions live and we do our best to answer them.
Yeah. So yeah, have a happy pre-patch. Good loot, good luck if you are getting Bruce or things that are going away at the last minute, and we will see you in the pre-patch with no corruptions.
Yep. Bye, corruptions.
Yeah, bye corruption. Bye chat.
Bye, chat.
Bye.
See you all next week.
See.